Twitter user at AI for Success posted a truly terrifying 8-second AI video that now has nearly 6 million views. It features an extremely realistic-looking news anchor sitting behind a desk reading this headline.
In shocking news, J.K. Rowling's yacht sank with her on board after being attacked by orcas off the coast of Turkey.
Now,
that is funny. You have to admit that it's funny.
If you're listening to this in an audio-only format, just go check out the clip on our YouTube channel. Right. It is very worthwhile.
It looks like a completely 100.0% authentic news clip.
Yep. I mean, it's wild. Fittingly, the tweet accompanying this video read, quote, "General population cooked. You can literally create news clips with VO3 now. What's even real anymore?" So thankfully, this clip is of a random no-name news anchor.
Right.
But you could easily imagine an AI model that's able to reproduce clips from CNN, the BBC,
totally,
even this podcast.
Yeah.
So Max, are we cooked?
I mean, it's feeling a little cooked. It's feeling to me like this is the Jurassic Park moment for AI deepfakes. Like, remember that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeffrey Goldblum says, "You were so focused on whether you could, you didn't think about whether you should." And
nice. I thought you were going to say the Raptors learn how to open the doors.
It's that too, but it's Jeffrey Goldblum is not in that scene, so I don't want to talk about
That's
it.
true.
That is a great
line
in there.
Yeah.
It feels like this is something. This is Google's new VEO3 like AI video generator. The second everybody saw this, we all realized this is a terrifying crossing of the Rubicon. This is a power that people should not have. To be able to make AI deepfakes of videos that look 1,000% authentic. It's very hard to tell. You can't really tell that it's fake. It can be anything you want. And like in the past, just a context set, when this kind of thing has come up, like a new AI fake image generator, I have, of course, typically taken the contrarian view and said, like, it's not actually as bad as it might look, because the way that misinformation works is not that it fools you by looking authentic, right? The way that it works is it appeals to some psychological need. You know, you're a big Trump fan, and it's important to you psychologically to believe that he could not have possibly lost the 2020 election. And in fact, a lot of the most viral misinformation, like, looks terrible and is very shoddy. It's like a shitty fake headline. So that's not why it travels. And that's why I would always say, like, don't actually get too hung up on how convincing it looks, because that is not the main thing. But like, I think this is different. That is just to emphasize that, like, I really think this is the thing that looks so convincing. It is a new kind of mis and disinformation threat that we're facing.
Yes. And I also think that some of the clips we've seen that are circulating online are funny enough and sort of not like, it's just too hard to believe that they're so over the top. Like, you know, J.K. Rowling was attacked by orcas, right? It was like Pete Hegseth. They're like, Pete Hegseth died after drinking a liter of vodka in a contest with RFK Jr., right? Like, it makes you think it's not as bad as I think it could be.
It's not showcasing the danger.
Right. Like, I read this piece on it in Verge, and they kind of came to the conclusion, like, yeah, well, if you really look, and maybe you can tell, and maybe it's not that bad. But like, they have an example of someone showed like the Space Needle in Seattle on fire, right? Like, or maybe it was a terrorist attack. So something like that comes out. It jumps to social media. Reporters pick it up. And by the time they call local authorities to check and realize that it's not true, the literal fake news is everywhere.
Right.
And like, forget about news anchors and AI characters saying things that are shocking or not believable. Like, what happens? The danger is stuff that is believable, but also very damaging.
Right.
So like, imagine an anchor saying, "Oh, President Trump says he's levying a new 400% tariff on China."
Right.
And watch the markets.
Right. Watch the market move, which has already happened from that, like, a random tweet
news.
a couple.
But there's things that could seem very believable, especially coming out of this administration, because it's like, there's almost no surprises from them. And I think that can get damaging really fast.
I think the even greater danger than losing an ability to distinguish what's real, because I think we'll always be able to tell what's real. Like, you can always, like, check the news. You can check against an article. I think we are going to lose the ability to distinguish what's fake.
Yeah.
Like being able to say something is known as fake versus like contested or uncertain, or like I've seen different clips saying different things, I think is going to become harder and harder. And all of the changes in our media environment over the last 15 years kind of feel like they've been building towards something to make an AI video generator like this as dangerous as possible. Like, how do people consume news today? For the most part, it's not by reading a newspaper directly or by watching TV news directly, right? It's consuming decontextualized clips that they see on Reels, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, not even posted by the original source, right? Often now they're posted by some like engagement bait account, and you just take for granted that it's real because look, that's a CNN anchor. This like looks like it's a real news clip or looks like a real event. But that is the perfect place for a fake TV news clip that would never actually happen to take purchase, circulate forever as proof of something, or at least muddying the waters of the truth in a way that is going to be very hard to like ever ascertain what really happened, because it's like, I don't know, like you have a CNN clip that shows that, I don't know, ICE opened fire at a bunch of immigrants, but like I have a fake CNN clip that says that actually they were fired upon first and just returning fire. So like, who's going to say what's
who's
true?
right? And then there's
Right.
a clip of someone saying, well, this is the right clip. And the other one was AI generated. But is that clip AI generated?
Right.
I mean, it can get pretty scary pretty fast.
And also because it is, I mean, up until 20 minutes ago, if you wanted to make a fake news anchor clip, which people did, right? Like these Russian troll farms did, it took a lot of effort. You had to get anchors, you had to build a set. Now you can do it in a few seconds.
Yep.
Anybody can do it. And I think that
it's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. It's only going to get cheaper and easier. The amount of this that is about to flood all of us, I think, is going to be a big part of what is going to make it so hard to differentiate reality now. Like if you see one weird clip on TikTok where someone purports to say that like Starbucks is funding the IDF, you know, like your defenses are maybe going to go up and maybe be like, I don't know if that's true or not. But if you're scrolling TikTok, you see 10 of those in a row.
Yeah.
And they're all from people that look like they're business executives who work from Starbucks saying we're so proud to be funding the IDF. It's going to be a lot harder for those defenses to come up and you to know what's real and not.
The other thing I took from this is the entertainment industry is also cooked.
Yeah.
Because,
I know.
And again,
Yeah.
prestige television and film probably survives for a while.
Right. The
maybe
top end
maybe
of
forever,
stuff
you know,
where
who
you
knows?
expect a certain amount
like,
of artistry.
Procedurals, cartoons,
Yeah.
kids content,
Right.
cooked.
The kids content part of it, I think, is really disconcerting because it's already getting into kind of like content mill territory.
I mean, yeah, sit and watch Charlie Favreau's YouTube scrolling for a little bit. There's some junk on that thing.
Is he getting a lot of CNN deepfakes
No.
mostly?
No, just like the weirdest. You let it sit for like you let it go for like 5 minutes, the algorithm, and
Right.
some of the videos are just like, what are they doing in this video?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They're playing a video game, but they're not. But they made a computer generated. Well,
Right.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
Right. I am really glad that the WGA and SAG secured like the Hollywood contracts that they did with protections against AI. But you're right. It's just a matter of time until the like
Matter of
bottom 20% is flooded by this stuff. So we're all going to have to learn how to, I don't even know if differentiate it. I don't think that's possible anymore.
Yeah.
We're all just going to have to learn how to read and understand these clips that we see, knowing that there's an X% chance that it's just fake.
Well, and certainly the social media companies are not going to be helping.
That's right. Yeah. You don't
sort
think
of,
so?
act
Silicon Valley?
act as traffic cops here because yesterday our own Hallie Kiefer here at Crooked shared a TikTok with us from Ariel Lore, a popular beauty and wellness influencer who talks about how she came across a paid ad on Instagram that featured an unlicensed AI-generated video of her hawking skincare products on a podcast. She contacted her attorneys, who sent the company running the video a cease and desist. But rather than take the ad down, they blocked her on Instagram. And then she reported the video to the fine folks at Meta, who also refused to take the video down.
Of course.
Because they say the video doesn't violate their community standards. Let's play a quick clip.
I'll show you a little bit of it.
Stunning.
Thank you.
But come on, tell us, what's your secret?
Okay, but don't go telling everyone, all right? This is my best kept secret.
Deal, I promise.
Honestly, you see, it's not even that complicated. When I was younger, I had a ton of skin issues. I started noticing fine lines in my early 20s and thought, no way.
So what kind of community
Crazy.
standards allow companies to use deepfakes of trusted influencers to sell shit without their knowledge.
So I checked, and this actually does break Meta's rules. They changed the rules a few months ago specifically to bar this kind of thing. But like, you know, as we have learned time and again, they just like, they're not very good at enforcing this stuff. And it's not because they like secretly want this content. It's just because content moderation has always been an afterthought for them. It's always been kind of poorly run, because the point of it, as I learned when I've reported on like the decision making behind how they do the content enforcement, the point of it is usually just about avoiding bad PR rather than actually making the platforms healthier.
Well, then why did they, if it does violate their community standards, why did they tell her it doesn't?
All of these things go through, it's not going to like the vice president of policy at Meta. It's going to someone who works at an outsourcing center who might live in like the Philippines and is like, probably has 1,000 of these on their desk. And they have these big rule books that are very confusing and contradictory. And they're just like any call center worker. They're just like kind of trying to get through the day to make their, you know, $4 an hour.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's troubling.
Because that's how much they care, which is not, I mean, like the company cares, it's not very much. But I actually think this is really important to talk about, because as much as we are concerned about the implications of these AI deepfakes at like a high level for, you know, politics or propaganda or like election interference, I think a lot of the malicious uses of it that we're going to actually see day to day are going to be like scamming, you know, blackmailing people, character assassination, revenge porn, selling scam products like this clip, or, you know, there's a lot of scams now where people get a phone call from someone that claims to be like a relative and being like, oh, stuck in Europe, wire me $3,000 to get home. You know, imagine if...
Love it. Keep saying, we all need code words.
He's right.
We all need our own individual
absolutely
special word that you give out to friends and family.
Which is crazy that we live in that environment where you need to prove that you are the person you say you are. And by the way, don't email that code word, but also how are you going to get it out to people?
Yeah. You have to like go up to someone and be like, I'm looking around.
What's your code word?
If you have suggestions for our code words, please send them in.
Maybe we could get a sponsor to buy one of the code words. But like, imagine like, you know, your grandmother getting emailed a video of you, like literally you being like, I'm in Paris, I can't get a flight home. Here's my bank account number to wire me the money. Like, of course she's going to send that.
Yep. It's terrifying.